Hello and good morning or good afternoon from wherever you have entered into this webinar. I would like to start the webinar regarding batch and serialized item management in life sciences with Produmex WMS right now. So please allow me to introduce myself to you. My name is Luc van der Perre, and I am Channel Manager of Boehm IT for the EMEA region. In this webinar, we will cover the following agenda. I will first give you a brief introduction about Boehm IT, then briefly introduce Produmex WMS to you, and then we'll dive into the topic of this afternoon, the use of combined batched information and serial numbers in industry, followed by a demo of how these principles are applied in Produmex WMS for sub-business one. Now, first, with respect to Boehm IT, most of you are aware of the fact that Boehm IT has acquired Produmex in the month of April this year. This was for the Belgian and the Hungarian offices of Produmex. And Produmex has been integrated within the Boehm IT solutions structure, and the company will be renamed to Boehm IT Solutions Belgium and Hungary at the beginning of 2019. The product names of the former Produmex company will, however, remain, and this will bring us to the joint product offering of Boehm IT Solutions, which consists of the original Boehm solutions, the Boehm Pack CRM for Outlook and B1 iPayment, with then the BS manufacturing suite and the Produmex suite of Produmex. So Boehm has been a sub-business one partner since 2004. The company was originally founded in 1997 by Michael Boehm in Denmark and is still headquartered there. Now, Boehm IT is 100% focused on sub-business one and has been a very successful partner in that area throughout the years, and has received many awards in this context. Boehm is also dedicated to ensuring optimal collaboration with its partners and its end customers. We have our Boehm IT portal where you will have your own space as a partner or a customer and can interact in an efficient way with our organization. Now, if we look at the current go-to-market offering of Boehm IT, this covers the small and mid-sized businesses market that is addressed by SAP with its sub-business one solution, in which area Boehm offers its generic or horizontal solutions that offer extended functionality to sub-business one that can be used in various industries and irrespective of the size of the companies. Next to that, Boehm IT offers a manufacturing solution for the mid-market, which is Produmex Manufacturing. It offers an advanced manufacturing solution for more complex requirements, and it offers logistic solutions. On the one hand, Produmex Scan, a solution that allows to execute standard sub-business 1 functions on a mobile device. And on the other hand, we have got Produmex WMS, which is the advanced warehouse management solution that is brought to market by Boehm IT Solutions. Okay, so the topic or the solution that I will be showing you today is the Produmex WMS solution, which is an industry-focused solution. It has a very important footprint in regulated industries. Its main primary focus is warehouse and distribution, but it also offers basic production and packaging functions. Very important also with respect to this solution is that it conforms to the GS1 industry standards for the identification and manipulation of products throughout the supply chain. And Produmex WMS has been implemented in many industries, but including a number of specific verticals like wholesale, food and beverage, industrial and consumer goods, pharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals, and also third-party logistics. Just to sum up the compliance of Produmex WMS with the industry standards is Produmex WMS fully supports the GS1 standards, which relate to the identification of products and logistic units throughout the supply chain, which relates to the support of the GS1 barcodes that are standard in many industries, and also the support for the electronic communication standards of GS1. So if we now proceed to the topic of today, namely the use of combined batch information and serial numbers in industry. Let us first have a look at the affected industries. These are mainly the regulated industries, including life sciences, food and beverage, tobacco, automotive and consumer electronics, to name just a few, where there are strict regulations. And the reasons for implementation of systems to manage batch information and serialized item information are multiple, but a very important driver in this context is the consumer and patient safety, where companies are required to comply with legal obligations. And companies have to ensure that they are able to ensure full traceability up to the individual serialized item within a batch up to the point of dispensing, which is in life sciences the pharmacy, where say the patient buys his pharmaceutical products. Another reason for implementing such a system is the need to comply with requirements of customers. So, for instance, recently for the import of milk powder for children in China, the Chinese authorities have also required that every company importing products into the milk powder onto the Chinese market are required to provide not just the batch information about the product that they supply, but also to serialize these individual cans of milk powder with a unique serial number to ensure full traceability of each product in the market. And another important aspect for implementing such a system is also the fighting of counterfeit products, which is a huge challenge in many regulated industries. Now, just to give you an idea of the impact of counterfeit on the market in generally, you see here a number of figures. For instance, in life sciences, it is believed that 5 to 10% of products on the market are counterfeit, which means that this represents a value of $200 billion of counterfeit drugs globally. Also in government, counterfeit is a very significant issue. You have the aspect also of mobile phones, the tobacco industry, automotive, and also, say, the food industries, where also with a view to consumer safety, there are very regular recalls of products based on batch numbers, but also based on, say, serial numbers if items are serialized. And then there is also the gray market activity, where you have the parallel imports, which is specifically something that affects luxury goods. So in all these instances, say, enhanced management of product information relating to batches and serial numbers are a very important aspect to ensure that these problems can be prevented or avoided. Okay. Now, how is it possible to manage this process? Well, there is a requirement to put systems in place to manage batched, managed, and serialized items throughout inbound and outbound inventory management, and also throughout production. It is necessary in that context to register the required traceability information and to produce and submit the required regulatory reporting to the authorities to assure or to prove that the company is compliant with the prevailing legislation. Now, when it boils down to which practices there are to manage this process, we have on the one hand, we have the aspect of tracking, which refers to the ability to track all movements of goods throughout the specified stage of an extended supply chain based on batch information and serial numbers. Now, in order to be able to do that, we have to, of course, register batch information, but also be able to serialize products, which means that we have to assign and apply unique product identifier to individual packs or products, which can be tracked and traced. And apart from the tracking, so the forward tracking in the supply chain, there is of course the tracing functionality, the possibility to go back into the supply chain and to identify a specific item within the supply chain at any given period, and also to trace at that moment ownership and the transactions among trading partners. Now, those practices will enable full tracking and tracing across the supply chain. And allow me now to, in the demonstration that I will show you now, to go a bit more in detail on this matter. I will show you a few configuration settings regarding to the management of items that have batch information, but also serialized item information. I will take you through the inbound logistics of batch managed and serialized items, so the goods receipt and the put away. And then also I'll take you through the outbound logistics process of batch managed and serialized items. And finally, I will show you how we can ensure traceability of batch managed and serialized items in this context. Okay, so let us now switch over to the system. So what you see here right now is the Produmex with WMS application, which consists of two parts. On the one hand, we have an application that runs in the administrative environment, so in the sub-business one environment, where we have a number of logistics functions that are related to logistics and warehouse management. And on the other hand, we have here the application that runs on an RF terminal, so a scanner in the warehouse. And we also have an application where we can run, say, packaging and production operations. Now, first, with respect to the Produmex WMS application, this is a solution which ties in at the level of the warehouse with Sub-Business One. So we're transparently integrated within the Sub-Business One database, but we tie in at the level of the warehouse. So the warehouses that you see here are the warehouses that have been defined in Sub-Business One. Now, underneath the warehouses, all the elements that you see here are Produmex WMS elements. So we extend Sub-Business One with a number of logistics characteristics, including, for instance, also Produmex bin locations. So we do not use the Sub-Business One bin locations because these currently do not offer all the required functionality for advanced warehouse management. So if we look at our warehouse here, what you see is that we have, for instance, here a number of docks that we have defined where we can receive and ship goods. We have also here a picking zone where we have a number of aisles that we have defined in our warehouse, and underneath these aisles we can then define the individual storage locations, which can be generic. So in this case, we have a storage location where we can put whatever product, and so we have no restriction on that location. But on the other hand, we can also define that a specific storage location is reserved for a single product. So here, for instance, we have our product. So only this product is allowed to be stored at this location, and we can then define minimum and maximum quantities. So a maximum quantity can be stored at the location, a minimum quantity that has to be available at the location, and a replenish quantity to fill up this location. Furthermore, and which we'll also see in the demo, is that we have defined also a packing zone in our warehouse where we can do pick and pack operations. For that purpose, we have defined a number of packing lines, so where we execute the packing. We have got a packing station, which is the application that I've just shown you, where we execute the packing operations. And we also have a number of picking cards, which we can go out into the warehouse to pick the goods. So this is the intuitive representation of our warehouse. Now, within this organizational structure, we have a number of other characteristics that we can define, such as, for instance, a number of reports that can be printed automatically, like a goods receipt label, a shipping label, a sales delivery note. So you will see these reports appear during the demo. We also have a number of print events that we can associate with these reports. So here you see, for instance, that we have defined that when we receive a new logistic unit, our report 61, which is our goods receipt label, as you see here, will be printed automatically. We can also define zone types in our warehouses. So if we have products that need to be stored under specific conditions, like, for instance, clean room conditions, or temperature-based storage, like a freezer or an ambient or a refrigerator area, these are all zone types that can be defined within the Produmex WMS application, and that can be assigned to specific zones in the warehouse. So for instance, if I open here my freezer zone, you will see that in my freezer zone, all products that can be stored there need to be of the zone type freezer. Okay, and in this way, the system automatically allows to prevent the storage of products in zones that do not match their storage conditions. We also have quality status management, and so we have the possibility to assign whatever quality statuses that are required, and we can assign these to specific products or to specific operations. So for instance, we can define that if a product is received, that it will automatically go into the status quarantine, and then that will prevent it from being picked or shipped to customers before it is actually released. So far for the organizational structure of Produmex WMS. Let us now have a brief look at the My Item Master data. So let us take a product here. Okay, let's find a product here. So here we have got a pharmaceutical product where you see that we have added on the side Produmex has added a management criteria to this product, namely if it comes to Standard Sub Business 1. Standard Sub Business 1 allows to manage an item by batches or by serial numbers or by none. What Produmex has added is that we allow to manage a product not only by batches but also by a serial number. So in this case we have a product here that is managed both by batches as well as serial numbers. We can specify the whether we want to track the location of serial numbers throughout the warehouse, and we can also specify specific serial number formats, which means that the system will check whether a product answers a specific serial number format. So for instance, in this case, we have specified that this product has a serial number format based on serial 1, and if we want to see what that means, we can go to our default forms, and we have here a list where we have defined a number of serial number formats. In this case, serial 1 means that the serial number will consist of the letters A, B, C, followed by 10 figures between 0 and 9. So the system will check on whether the serial number that it receives for a particular product will match its serial number format. Now we have a number of other criteria for this product. So we have a Produmex tab in which we can specify the inventory behavior of this product. So in this case, we have also specified that it is a product with the best before date. We also have specified here that this product needs to be stored in an ambient temperature zone, and that we have a standard location for this product. Also, for the purchasing process, we can have a number of criteria, like, for instance, in this case, an expiry definition. So if we receive this product, we assume that the expiry date of the product will be 2.5 years from now. This means that if there is no expiry date on the product itself, the system will automatically apply an expiry date of 2.5 years, or add an expiry date of 2.5 years to the product. We can also have shelf life, so meaning if we receive a product, we have to be assured that it can stay on our shelves for a period of time before it reaches its expiry date. So here we have set that at 540 days, and we can do the same for sales, where we say, okay, we need to guarantee our customers customers also a shelf life for the delivery. And so we have to ensure that the product will have a shelf life of at least 110 days at the warehouse of our customer. We could also define batch attributes for products and so on, but that's not of importance today. So let us now go and create a purchase order. So we're starting the inbound logistics process. So we're going to create a purchase order for this product, where we select our supplier, so our pharma supplier. We select the item that we want to purchase. Okay, and we specify that we're going to order 50 boxes of this product. So we add the purchase order. Okay, the purchase order is now completed. So here you see it, and what we can do now is we can start the inbound logistics process for the product. So if we go now to our terminal, we have here the main functions that are supported by the scanner application. So we've got the inbound logistics process, and from purchasing to goods receipt and put away, the outbound logistics process from sales to picking and shipping, the internal logistics flows, and also a link to production. Now it is clear, of course, that this screen is configurable, so that you only get to see the buttons that are applicable to your company. So if you don't have production, it's useless to have a production button on there. And it can also be tailored to the authorizations of individual operators. So if we have someone who only does goods receipts, then he would only have inbound logistics functions on there. Okay, so let's now start the purchasing process. So we're going to do a reception here. We are specifying on which dock we are going to receive the goods. This is our receiving dock 1. And then we can start receiving the goods, and we can select the filter for doing that. So the most automated way is by scanning the barcodes, and by scanning the barcodes, the system will then detect to which order or to which orders does this product belong, so that we can proceed from there. We can go through the order. Also, if there is no reference to a purchase order, we can still receive the goods, and we can also receive purchase containers. So if we have a great deal of purchase orders that are shipped and delivered in a container, we can also do a container delivery. Now in this case we're going through the order, and here you see the purchase order that we have just received. Okay, now the system asks me whether I'm going to receive identical logistic units or a single logistic unit. So in this case I'm going to receive only one logistic unit. Okay, and then I can start the barcodes on the GS1 label, but if there is no label on the logistic unit, I can proceed without scanning a label. And now I can scan the product or select the product. So what I have prepared now is that what you see here is I have here on the one hand I have here a product barcode. So this is the barcode of the product, and I have also here a number of serial numbers that I have created for this product. Okay, so let us proceed now. So I'm going to scan the product. So I have got a hand scanner attached to my computer here. Okay, so it has recognized the product. Now it asks me to identify the batch number. If that batch, that product barcode would have contained a batch number, the system would have automatically registered that. Now in this case, the system will generate a batch number itself. Okay, it will add the expiry definition to the date of today, and it will propose the best before date of the 4th of June 2021. And then it knows that this is a serialized item, so it will allow me to select a method for entering the quantity, and in this case I can scan all the individual serial numbers, I can scan a range of serial numbers, or I can receive products without serial numbers at this stage and only assign the serial numbers at the moment that I'm going to ship them to my customer. Now let's in this case assume that we're going to specify a range of serial numbers. So what I do now is I scan the starting number of, okay, and I scanned the end range. Okay, and the system detects now that I've entered 50 serial numbers. Is this correct? Yes, that is correct. Okay, it has now registered all the serial numbers over here that I have indicated by the start and end range, and I now execute the goods receipt. And what you see here is that I get here now a goods receipt label which has the information of this delivery. So it contains here the identification of the logistic unit, which is called the SCCC, which is the number that uniquely identifies this logistic unit, and it identifies here the product by its global trade item number, the best before date, the quantity, and also the batch number. Now, while registering this product, it will also have registered all the serial numbers that I have received. So if we now go to our purchasing, our goods receipt PO document, we have here now the goods receipt that we have just executed, and we have also here all the serial numbers that we have now registered in our inventory. Okay, so in order to be able to follow the flow of products throughout the warehouse, we also have a specific inventory report in Produmex for SAP Business One. So if we now look, for instance, at where is the stock of this particular product, okay, we select it. Okay, then the system will now show me what is the total inventory of this product, and it will also show me what are the serial numbers attached to this particular batch. And so this is the batch that I have just received. So you see here that it's still registered on my receiving dock. The batch number is over here, and I can also ask the system to show me the serial numbers, and it will show me the serial numbers that are related to this batch of this product of this best before date. So I have here the full overview of all product related information. So what the system now has generated is a put away order. So if I go back to my scanner and I want to put away this product into my warehouse, I go to my receiving dock one, and there it tells me, okay, there is this logistic unit that needs to be put away, and that logistic unit is indeed the number that you see here. And so this is the identification of the logistic unit. So it is now just a matter of scanning that SCCC to indicate that you're selecting that logistic unit. So let me simulate that. Okay, we have now scanned the SCCC, and now the system asks me where to put this. So in this case, it suggests to put it at the default location of this product, which is P0036. But I can also go to another location, and if the product is allowed there, it will allow me to move it there. Or I can also ask the system to select an empty location. If I do that, he will tell me now that, for instance, my location B0033 is still empty. And this is a backup or a bulk location, so I can move it over there. Okay, and if I now refresh my inventory report, you will now see that the product that I have just moved on this logistic unit has been moved now to location B0033. So at each moment in time, I have got a clear view of where my product is located. So this is the demonstration of the inbound logistics process. So let us now proceed. So now let me just open that inventory report again. Oh, no, just let me. Okay. So that we can follow it later on. Okay. So what you see in this inventory report, which is very important for the outbound logistics process, is that you see here batch numbers, best before dates, batch IDs, and that we have with each batch number also associated number of serial numbers. So what you see here are the serial numbers that are linked to this particular batch. Now the system will also work according to the FIFO principle, meaning first expired, first out, which means that it will allocate stock based on its expiry date, so that we manage to get the oldest products out of the stock first. So I'm leaving this inventory report here because you will see that when it comes to the sales order, this will definitely play a role. So if we now proceed with the sales process, let's now create a sales order for a particular customer. So we have got here our pharmacy Smith. So, okay. So let's assume that we're going to sell 4 boxes of this product to our pharmacy Smith. So we're entering 4 boxes. We're entering here the delivery date. Okay, so we have now created our sales order. Now, to make this sales order available on the shop floor, we create first a pick list proposal, which ensures that the warehouse supervisor or manager can check whether he can deliver the product in question. So if we do this here, we will see here that at this stage, the system has allocated a specific batch number and a specific best before date to this sales order. If we look back to our, just a moment, if we look back to our inventory report, you will see that it has effectively selected this batch number here. So 45 at the end, with the best before date of the 21st of September 2019. So if we go to the pick list proposal, so here is the reserved batch. We can change a number of criteria here, for instance, like the shipping dock. We can have pick and pack remarks and some other things. But now we're going to release this pick list to the shop floor, to the warehouse. And this means, okay, so we have the pick list now available. It has been created. It's possible to print it if that would be of any assistance. And now we're going to do the picking process. Now again, to show you the picking process, we have here the pick list that is now created. And the system will now show me the item that I need to pick and where I need to get this product in question. So it tells me this is the location where you need to pick the product. This is the batch number, and this is the best before date. Now, in order to show you how the system manages this process, what I have here is I've got an item master label, an item label of this product, where you see that I have a barcode here that contains the information about the product. So this Nero Stim box, the best before date and the batch number. And I have here a second batch of the same product, but of a different batch. And so here you see that the best before date in this case is the 31st of May 2020, and it has got a different batch number. And the system will check on these data to decide whether I'm actually delivering the correct product. It will also check on the serial numbers that I select, because in a second stage the system will not just be it will not be sufficient to just select the batch, but we also need to select the serial numbers, and that's also a second check that we will make then. Okay, so if we now go to this this product here, okay, let's start the picking process. I'm going to pick this product on a picking card. So if I enter my movable location here, okay, I'm now going to pick this on this movable location. I scan, or I enter the location. Okay, and now I'm going to scan the product. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm first going to scan the product with a batch number of or a best before date of 2020, and if I scan that, the system will tell me that I cannot pick from this batch number and best before date. So it prevents me from taking the wrong product. Okay, so if I scan the other batch barcode, okay, that's all right. And now the system, as a second check, will ask me now to specify the serial number. So again, I could specify a range, or I could also specify the individual serial numbers. So let me show you this. So I'm now, it tells me that I need to scan 4 serial numbers. So I scan the first one, I scan the second one, I scan the third one, and I scan the fourth one. Okay, so he has now, so I have now scanned the 4 serial numbers that I'm going to deliver to my customer pharmacy Smith. Okay, the items are picked. So what has happened now is that these items are now on my picking card. So if I refresh my inventory report, okay, you will see here that I have now 4 boxes on my picking card, and the 4 boxes that I have on my picking card have this specific serial number and belong to this batch. I'm now going to do the packing process. So I'm now turning to my application for packing. So I select the packing button, and then I have the packing lines that I have defined in my organizational structure. So I select my packing line 1, and then I have the packing application here, where I can now enter my cart manually. So I specify that I'm going to pack from my movable location 1. I'm going to put this in a carton, and then it tells me you need to pack 4 boxes of this product for this customer. So I'm going to add the items, and again he now asks me to select a method for entering the quantity. He said, I'm again saying serial numbers, so I've got the serial numbers here that he proposes, but I have to scan them to confirm this. So I scan the first one, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one, and that's okay now. Okay, I can now, I've added them to my carton, and I can finish my logistic unit, and he will tell me to move this to my shipping dock 1, and he will now create a shipping label which contains again an identification of the logistic unit with the identification of the product with its best before date and its batch number, but also within this delivery, as you will see, also the serialized or the serial numbers of this product are contained. Now, to conclude the process of shipping this, I again go to my scanner. I now go to the shipping stage. So if I refresh my my screen again from my inventory report, you see now that I have here this logistic unit on my shipping dock, and this logistic unit contains these serial numbers. So if I want to ship this based on a pick list, I have here indeed now the logistic unit that I have just created. So I scan it. The SCCC has been loaded, and the system is now booking the delivery in sub-business 1, and it's generating here a delivery note. Now in this case, this delivery note only contains the quantity of the product, the batch and as before, but this could be easily configured that you also would have the individual serial numbers on there. And as a matter of fact, so if we look now, this delivery has gone from my inventory, so it's no longer there. And if I go to my sales tab in sub-business 1 and I ask for the final delivery, you see here that I have here my delivery to Pharmacy Smith with my carton and the 4 boxes, and here you see the serial numbers that I have delivered to this customer. Now, finally, to show you also the traceability that we can assure based on this, let me go to our reports. We have in Produmex a traceability report. So if we select here now a forward traceability report of this product here, so let's select it. Okay. So what we see here now is an overview of all the batches of product that we have processed in our warehouse. And so here, for instance, you see the batch that we have just received in this purchase order. So what you see here is the goods receipt of this product with the associated serial numbers. And so it's 50. So we've got here 50 serial numbers that have been captured. Now, of course, we have done no deliveries of this product yet, so there are no deliveries mentioned. There's only been one movement, so we have moved it from our receiving dock to our bin location. If we would have had quality status changes, these would have been documented here. But if you now look at the batch from which we have done deliveries, so here you see the batch with its goods receipt. And so when we received this batch of product, we also had a number of serial numbers associated with this, and we have already done a number of deliveries. So for each delivery that we have made in our traceability report, we have here also a link to the individual serialized items that we have delivered. So this is the delivery that we have just made, and you see here not just that we have captured batch information about this product, but also serial information. Here you see all the movements that have taken place from this batch of products. Again, if there would have been quality status changes, these would have been recorded here, and the system also shows me what is the current stock situation of this batch, and it says, well, of this batch we still have these serial numbers available in our inventory. So you see that in this case, based on the registering all the information, and in case of a problem, it would easily be possible to recall products from the customer to which we have delivered them, and in this way also offer a complete full traceability of batch managed and serialized items. So this brings me to the end of this demonstration. I hope it was interesting to you. The recording will be made available on our website, and I hope to be able to welcome you soon in a following webinar on Produmex WMS. Thank you very much.